Hello my friends, my name is Stevie B. It's great to be back on the official Cubase YouTube channel, and I'm really excited to kick off this 3-part video series. I'm going to take you through the entire process of writing an indie pop track in the style of artists like Sohn, Rye, and James Blake. We're going to infuse electronic and organic elements together. It'll also feature some vocals. Throughout the series, we're going to make use of the incredible tools that we have in Cubase 14, like the drum machine, the modulators, and new plugins like Shimmer and Studio Delay. In the end, we're going to have something that sounds like this. So in this first video, we're going to throw down some fundamental ideas for our track to kick things off, and I'm going to specifically focus on building the drums and percussive textures. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So whenever I start a new track, where I like to focus my energy initially is the drums and percussion. So what we're going to do here is build a groove. It's always a good place to start. Let's talk about Drum Machine. This is a new feature in Cubase 14 that is just an incredibly useful tool, and there's a few different ways that I use it creatively. So we'll load up an instance of Drum Machine here. I'm going to choose MIDI part. Drum Machine has a built-in drum synth, so we can build our own custom kits, and it also has a great selection of preset kits. Let's just start here by generating a kick on pad C1. So with kick selected here, I like the sound of kick 2, and I love the flexibility that I have here in Drum Machine to shape the sound of this kick. I'm going to roll back the click. I want something that sounds a bit softer. Let's tune it down with the oscillator tune just a little. And I'll roll back the decay on this amp envelope. And maybe add just a little distortion. Cool, that's good enough for now. I'm just going to draw in a simple 4 on the floor pattern, bringing down the velocity a bit. Okay, perfect. Let's copy that out, and I'll rename this kick. So let's take this recording of these water drips as an example. Let's say we like the sound of this like one drop here. So we can make that cut, and then we can add a new drum track, and we can drag and drop this audio right onto a new pad. And from here, I can process this sound in all sorts of interesting ways. Maybe we add a bit of reverb. We'll pitch it down. We can reverse the sample. And you can see here that Drum Machine has all of the original audio as well. So if we wanted to expand our selection, or draw a fade, or if we want to move it all together, we can do that with ease. And of course, we have a few more layer slots. So I can come to layer number 2 and maybe throw in a clap sample. It's all just super easy to do and so much fun to mess around with. Okay, so this is my Organic Sounds custom kit. We've got a collection of, sounds from nature and like random household stuff. Can hear some birds in there, some water. And some of these have some reverb applied to them already. So let's come up to MIDI and pull up the pattern editor. And I'll just full screen this. And what's fun is instead of drawing in the pattern for each element, we can just start by like hitting the randomization button. So it's this little dice icon here. Let's hit that. And we can just keep hitting it till we find something that we like. Cool. And I find by doing this, I get a sense pretty quickly of which samples should go where. So for example, this step sample, we can preview it here with this little speaker button. That sounds really nice with the kick. So maybe we'll just match this to the kick like that. And the cool thing is that when we use this randomization button, the velocities on the bottom here are also randomized. And that adds some nice dynamics to it as well. So maybe this flicker, we can move it over here. And maybe that's a bit too loud. So we just turn the velocity down to the bottom. And this water hit sounds really nice on the offbeat. So maybe I'll add that to the 3 and the 7. Now this wood sample, maybe we can add a bit more complexity to the beat by using the repeats function. Let's move this over here maybe, and on repeats, I'll push this up to 3. Now check this out. If we go more than 3, it might sound a little bit too cluttered. That sounds pretty cool, actually. I think I like 3 better, but let's maybe draw another one in here, and I'll say 2. This cup sample is a bit too loud, so I'll bring that down. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the way this sounds. So let's say we like pattern 1, we can duplicate it. So now we got a copy of it on pattern number 2, and I can make some, small adjustments to this. Maybe I'll move the cup sound over here, add a wood hit here, maybe add some repeats. Okay, so this sounds cool. I've got a slight variation to the pattern. And now it's as easy as just dropping these patterns right onto the session. So with pattern 1 here, I'll just drag that onto the project. Let's switch to pattern 2. And I can copy these out. Okay, and what do these sound like together? Yeah, nice. So having a bit of variation definitely helps. But yeah, I think this is a nice groove to kick things off. Let's start with Halion Sonic, which is totally free. And a lot of people don't realize this, but Halion Sonic has its own built-in synth engine. It's just kind of hidden. All you got to do is come over to one of the program slots on the left, just right click, we'll select Init Program, and let's come over to L1, and we can access all of the synth stuff here. So we'll show oscillator page. We got 3 different oscillators here. We could select between sine, triangle, saw. I can add, voices of unison. We can detune it. We've got a sub oscillator, ring modulator, and noise as well. The cool thing about Halion Sonic is that you can access all of the same effects that come with the full version of Halion 7. So you can build some really amazing synth patches from the ground up. I'll load one of my own patches here. This one's called Chill and Moody. It sounds like this. So I think this is going to work. Let's just throw some chords down on this beat. Okay, sweet. I'll just clean that up a little bit. And maybe I'll add just a little shimmer to it. Let's bring this down in the mix. Doesn't have to be crazy. Adjusting the filter too. I don't want it too sparkly. And this for sure won't be the only time that I use shimmer throughout this series. I absolutely love this plugin. Just adds a nice bit of glowing texture to anything you apply it to, really. And we can expand on this idea. Maybe I can add an arpeggiated sequence to it. Let's pull up another instance of Halion Sonic. And just to show you how easy it is to get some cool sounds going with this synth. Again, I'll just right click here, Init Program. Let's come over to L1. Let's bring up the amp envelope page and make a little adjustment here. Maybe we'll use a saw wave for oscillator 2. Let's add some voices and detune it a bit. Okay, and I'll come over to the flex phaser page. Let's turn the arpeggiator on. Okay, that sounds cool. We can just leave it at that pattern. And maybe it's something like this. It might be nice to add some delay to these arpeggios using Studio Delay. Again, new plugin with Cubase 14. Filtering out the reflections, and we can even add some shimmer to these as well if we want. And coming back to Halion Sonic, we can experiment with this even more. We could push one of our oscillators up an octave. Maybe add just a tiny bit of noise. And, maybe we'll assign this decay on the amp envelope to our mod wheel. What does this sound like? And then, of course, there's the modulators, which add a whole other layer of fun. And we'll get into the modulators more in the next video. But, let's just say I want to do something really simple. And
assign an LFO to the pan of this ARP. So let's add that connection, and I'm just going to hit the balance panner, and there you go, that easy. Just like that, we're adding a bit of movement.
So this is a really simple idea so far, but I've got enough here that I can build out a basic arrangement. And what we're going to do in the next video is dive a little deeper into the modulators. We'll add some fresh ideas, and I'll also have some vocal tracks that we can mess around with. Very excited for all of that, so thanks for tuning in, and make sure to leave your thoughts below, hit the like button for me, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, and I will see you in part 2 of this series. Take care.